In January. All right. So I'm going to dive into the topic today because the minutes just tick away at 15 minutes. So this morning, I live in Southern Oregon in Jackson, Josephine County. I live in a little town called Jacksonville, and it's kind of just right up on a little hill overlooking the Rogue Valley. And I have this view from my house that I love, and was part of the reason we bought the property is that we get to look out over the Rogue Valley, and at night we see all the beautiful lights, and during the day I get to see the Siskiyous, I see the Cascades, I get to see Mount McLaughlin, and it's just gorgeous, Mount Brown, um, and and in the winter we get fog, and it just packs in like a bowl of whipping cream, and we're just right up here on the little edge. And so this beautiful view that I love, that kind of feel feels expansive for me and invites expansive thinking and thoughts and being and space, becomes down. And for me, I don't enjoy that, as you can probably guess from the way I'm describing it. And so it feels very claustrophobic. It feels very oppressive. Things are icy, and I just get a little grumpy about the whole thing. It's not really fun for me to go on my big power walks that I love to take. And, you have to wear so many layers of clothing. and, um, and so so recently it has just been foggy, and I have just been grumpy. And so I thought about that, as I like to do, create that metacognition moment of thinking about my thinking, and saying, how's kind of that Dr. Phil moment of like, how's that working for you, Tiff? How's it working to be grumpy? Is it changing the fog? Is it changing the moment? And the answer is it's not changing the fog. And it is certainly changing the moment for me, because I'm viewing it through that grumpiness lens. I can't be grumpy about the fog and not have that impact and infuse the rest of my brain, because it's creating neurotransmitter processes that are happening in my brain. And so it's influencing more than just my relationship with the fog. It's influencing how I communicate, how I'm viewing my day, how I'm thinking about movement and exercise. I'm kind of dreaming about other places to be, or just waiting. I'm missing the moment and waiting for that hole in the sky to open up. I do the same thing in smoke season in Southern Oregon. And so I just was having a moment with that, of thinking, what else could happen here? What other options do I have? Because I can't change the fog. I can change my relationship to it. I can move my attention onto something else. I can come into this fog rather than fighting against it. And so I was having this moment of kind of thinking about that. And I thought, well, I'm not really looking to move from grumpy to joyful about the fog. I don't know that I want to be that enlightened. But I do. The word that came to me was like acceptance. What if I just accepted this, that this is part of where I live? It happens multiple times throughout really multiple seasons. So what if I just accepted that this was here? Would I view things differently? Would I see things differently? Would I feel differently? And so I tried that, and specifically this morning, because it is foggy and it is icy. Um, and so as I was going out to get in the car, I just started noticing things. I was taking my kids to school. And what I noticed is, the fog had created this like layer of frost, like encrustment around all of the trees around us, all the pine trees and all the conifers, and it was just glorious and beautiful. And as I leaned in closer, I could see, it's almost like individual flakes of ice that had occurred. It had created this really beautiful pattern on my windshield, that was like starbursts of ice. I also started noticing, as I was driving, the sun was above the fog and really filtering through this diffused golden light. And, I still am excited when the sun breaks through, but it just changed the way that I interacted with something I have no control over. And it was just a reminding moment for me of, this is mindfulness. This is mindful. It doesn't have to be eyes closed, breathing deeply, doing the hard, work of focusing my brain. I can also just be in the moment that I'm in. That is mindfulness, being in the moment that I'm in and placing my attention somewhere on purpose. And it really changed the moment for me. So, with that, we are going to dive into our eyes closed or soft gaze meditation. And we're going to use a body scan today. This is a common mindfulness practice. I haven't brought it here very often, but it's really where we place our attention on purpose on our body and we move our attention through our body on purpose. So, with that, let's go ahead, close your eyes. You can also take a soft gaze. Allow your breath to become your focus. You don't have to shift your breath or change it. Just first notice it. Notice the sensations of it as it enters your body, perhaps through your nose or through your lips. Noticing without getting attached to any story or any judgment, what it feels like as it moves down your esophagus, into your lungs. Find that moment of exchange where we move from inhalation to exhalation. And then placing your attention, feeling your lungs compress the air, exhale, maybe finding the warmth of that breath on your lips or through your nose. Noticing any changes that might be occurring just simply by placing your attention on it. We often find that when we find our breath on purpose, it tends to deepen, elongate. And bringing that attention now, if you imagine it like a ray of light or a mag light, if you've ever had a bright, strong flashlight that you shine on a dark, foggy night. Imagine that ray of light moving to your feet, noticing fully, bringing your attention fully into that area, noticing sensations, temperature, naming it as you notice it. Perhaps you're saying cold, tingly, socks, just what you're noticing without any need to change, but allowing any adjustments to take place. Bringing that ray of light, that flashlight in the dark, bringing it up slowly through your shins and your calves. Again, just noticing what's there. And then into your knees. If there is pain or discomfort that you're noticing, you can name that. Perhaps adding some attributes to it like stinging, pulsing, itching, dull, and then moving on. What else do you feel? What else is there? Bringing that light up the thighs, the quads, the hams, noticing and naming as you go. Into your bottom and your pelvis. Perhaps you feel the pressure of the seat, pant line, the waistline. Allowing that light to raise into your belly and your lower back. Again, without any need to adjust, but allowing adjustment to happen if it wants to as you bring attention into that area. You might say hunger, fulfillment, dull ache. Bringing your attention up the spine, the upper back, to the front of the chest, and the shoulders. Naming the movement of your breath, perhaps the beating of your heart. Again, noticing pain without attaching to it, naming it. Moving down the arms and the elbows into the hands and the fingertips. What's present? Placement of your hands, the temperature, sensations. Coming back to the throat and the neck. Into the jaw, noticing the tongue, teeth, ears, cheeks, eyes and forehead. Finally up to the crown of the head. Naming, describing, noticing, allowing. Bringing our attention somewhere on purpose, in the present moment, non-judgmentally. And as we move to close the practice, find your breath once more. Slowly opening your eyes and coming back together. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.